Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back. We're once again doing some replay broadcasting, this time looking back at week 10 of season 19 in Division D. We're going to be seeing the ReGen DeGens take on Protectors of Shakuras in a best of 3 series. I don't know the results, so if you do, and you're here with us live in chat, don't mention them. We want to find out in the moment. I would hate for it to color the way that the commentary goes at all. A little bit of background on these two teams. The DeGens are the latest incarnation of ReGen Rebel. They've got members from a handful of earlier ReGen organizations. I believe they're the only ReGen team participating in NGS this season. And on the other side, Protectors of Shakuras are in their 4th season together. This is the first season in a while where I feel like their roster core has really settled in and they're able to kind of mesh well together. They've been plagued by roster troubles in the past. I can say with some first-hand knowledge, because they are the sister team to my team, Protectors of Ire. So it's all in the family, but I am of no relation. Let's take a look at our battleground draft to see where we're going and where we will never go. We're headed to Braxis Holdout for game number 1. We saw map bans on Dragonshire and Battlefield of Eternity for the DeGens, with Protectors of Shakuras banning out Sky Temple and Volskaya Foundry. So what I always think of as a rare sight for NGS, but Braxis, I feel like I've been broadcasting lots of Braxis games this season, so perhaps the previous statistics that I've worked off of did not follow through to this season. And Braxis is popular now. Who's to say? Either way, let's get into game number 1 and see how our teams perform. This battleground is pretty unique in an organized setting as compared with our Storm League experiences of it. And we can get into that after we introduce the teams. Here on the left in blue, we've got ReGen DeGens, Taco on Johanna, Random Engineer playing Dahaka, Meow Meow Cats on Zul'jin, Prostman Pat on Tassadar, and Velaravia on Brightwing. To the right in red, we've got Protectors of Shakuras, The Boomer on Deckard, Cliff Sandwich on Falstad, Lumpico on Garrosh, Chopper on Junkrat, and Aurum playing Rexar. So we've got globals on both sides. POS were able to pick up the Rexar as well. So this is kind of an excellent battleground for Rexar. We see Random Engineer dragging the Nisha. Taco immediately tossed in by Lumpico and booped away by Chopper. So Taco's going to eat most of their HP in damage. Of course, on the other side, ReGen DeGens have some important tools at their disposal. Oh my gosh, a double takedown. Well played. Lumpico getting that toss. They'll also use the Into the Fray cleanse to get Cliff out of trouble there. 12 stacks on Gathering Storm already. Of course, they're not the only ones stacking. Meow Meow Cats on Zul'jin is going to have lots of opportunities to throw axes down here in bot lane. The point control that Chopper brings on the Junkrat is also going to be challenging for the DeGens to work with. Extra wound timers. Velaravia thrown in, the root does not connect. And there's the dig in from Random Engineer. They're immediately snapped up by the trap. They still have drag. They'll land it here onto Chopper, but Lumpico once again has Into the Fray available and cleanses the Junkrat for safety. This gives Aurum free reign in top to get a little push done on the fort. Random Engineer makes their waddle back to top in the meantime. It's going to be difficult for Random Engineer to wrest control of that top point from Aurum because of the Misha. Lumpico taking a lot of damage. Yamaka getting a fair number of auto attack stacks together already. Up to 30. Make it 35. No, it's just 30. Auto attacks connected. Taco falls once again, not respecting how close to towers they were without their iron skin. And that'll be the first objective channel going in favor of the red team. Villaravia phase shifts top. A drag onto Misha. But Misha's healthy. Misha will escape. We've got level 4s on both sides. What do we have? Ruby for Deckard. Boom Pow or Junkrat. That's cooldown reduction, I believe. Yeah, cooldown reduction for more point control. Ah. Block for Rexar. What is that? Grizzled Fortitude? Yeah. Very interesting. So, with Shakuras working on the Bruiser camp there, they're going to give away control of the bottom beacon. Gives the DeGens an opportunity to get some stacks. But, once again, Lumpico on Garrosh connects the Wrecking Ball. And so, Meow Meow Cats will fall once again. On the top side, Random Engineer continuing to put pressure on Misha. Of course, the experience is starting to really heavily favor Shakuras at this point, thanks to their hero takedowns as well as the minion experience advantage they've got. What other level 4s do we have? Subdue for Johanna, that's a big one. Voodoo Shuffle, I believe. Amani Hide, okay. Misha's back on point. Taco doesn't have their iron skin, and the phase shift won't be quick enough. Another takedown onto the Johanna. The multi-layered displacement threat that Shakuras have between the Garrosh and the Junkrat makes it really challenging for Johanna to step up here successfully. Johanna struggles a bit in the early game to find reliable engagements, and so their job is mostly just to be a meat shield. Another toss in, this time onto Villaravia. The boop from Junkrat Cliff Sandwich makes the barrel roll in to secure another takedown. Cleanse from Lumpico onto Chopper. And a full Zerg wave for Shakuras. Level 7s on both sides here. We've got Emerald for Deckard, healing reduction. It's going to be a big, impactful cooldown for shutting down the phase shift healing from Villaravia. Fort front wall taken down already. The DeGens are doing a pretty solid job getting through this objective phase, so they'll lose front wall, but not much else. On the top side, Aurum loses, I would say, a reciprocal amount, so things are pretty much even, structurally speaking. 6 takedowns. Oh my gosh, here's the dig in from Random Engineer. They're looking for the polymorph. They landed onto Chopper. Boomer tossed out with the Into the Fray, but Lumpico only has 1 charge of the cleanse. So we'll see how much push they get done here. They can't hug the wall too hard. Yeah, because if they do, they'll get tossed in by the Garrosh. Random Engineer stuck on the other side of the wall. Boomer caught behind the force wall. Looks like they'll survive. Other level 7s. More healing reduction. This time for the Johanna with Sins Exposed. What else do we have? Feeding Frenzy for Dahaka. Arcanite Axes for Meow Meow Cats. Psionic Echo. And Villaravia opting for Critical Mist. So a large heal whenever they cleanse CC with Soothing Mist. Random Engineer has a pretty big power spike with their level 7 Feeding Frenzy. Lampico makes the rotation. Villaravia slept by Stay a While and Listen. Riptire's going to chase the Brightwing down, and that'll be another takedown for Protectors of Shakuras. They won't even lose a Misha! Bears matter. Lampico saves Rexar's best friend with an Into the Fray. With Sandwich on the global, still has it available, could join top if when they want. Random Engineer also has Brush Stalker available. Other heroics, we've got Warlord's Challenge, Unleash the Boars, Mighty Gust, Taco doing a little bit of scouting on Johanna as the objective points unlock once again. We've got heroics on both sides. Taco opting for Falling Sword. First objective channel goes over to Protectors of Shakuras. Yeah, we'll see the dig in from Random Engineer. Unfortunately, Protectors of Shakuras weren't locked down by anything, so they just walk away from that 5v4. We'll see how much pressure the DeGens can apply here. They've got a lot of potential siege damage with the Zul Jin. On 5v4, there's the sleep from Boomer. Black Hole thrown out. Taco Falling Swords in, but they don't have the Iron Skin. An Isolation lands onto the Garrosh, so they'll trade frontliners here. Cliff already used the Gust. And lo and behold, Aurum on top side has been getting a lot more push done despite the outnumbered fight that the DeGens opted for here on the bot side. 1v0, it's easier to push than 5v4, as it turns out. So it looks like first fort of the game is going to go over to Shakuras. Random Engineer continuing to stick it out in bot lane. Villaravia does not get interrupted. Oh, the cleanse for the taunt. Random Engineer in a lot of trouble. They'll fall. Unleash the Boar is landed. There's the stun from Misha as well. Postman Pat falling low, as is Meow Meow Cats. The Taztingo not enough. One more auto attack will seal the deal for Shakuras. Villaravia falling there. Taco going on a road trip here. Oh, they proc the boss. That's unfortunate. And so that's the takedown onto Johanna. Some substantial objective progress for Shakuras before Random Engineer is able to brush stalk up to the top point. We see lots of pings going out onto the bottom camp, while Aurum once again grabs the top point for POS. Villaravia commits the phase shift to top as well. A lot of CC onto Aurum there. They stun Misha, with Misha rather, and they're a little Zul'jin of their own now with Aspect of the Hawk at level 13. Here's the slow. Villaravia does not have the cleanse available. They're not able to find the blink either, so it's a takedown onto Brightwing. Pressman Pat and Meow Meow Cats escorting a wave in bot lane, while Taco makes the rotation to top. So the DeGens pick up their first fort as well. They'll secure level 13 talents. Pressman Pat dismounted, and they'll get caught by the Stay a While and Listen and Riptire from Chopper. checking in on top side. Random Engineer getting peppered down with these auto attacks. They save themselves with a burrow, but it means that they no longer have the phase shift to save them. Getting put on short cooldown there, so they'll get it now. Aurum wrests control of top beacon once again, while Shakuras steal away DeGens' siege camp here in bot lane. There's an Indomitable from Lumpico. And full Zerg wave, this time for top lane, for the Protectors. I'll be interested to see if they leave anyone down here in bot. It looks like Cliff Sandwich on Falstad has Fly available, so they'll keep their global in the farther lane. 3-level lead, full talent tier lead for Shakuras. Unleash the Boars thrown out. A cleanse from Taco will get the rest of the DeGens out to safety. Spread volley committed by Chopper. A pretty healthy Zerg wave still for Shakuras. They'll get through at least one tower of the keep. Aurum falling pretty low here. Riptire in concert with Stay a While and Listen. Random Engineer gets the lick onto Boomer, and they connect the auto attacks necessary. Aurum in full retreat. Lumpico throws the Apex Predator away to make sure that the rest of his team can escape. So, a pretty successful defense for the DeGens. They lost their keep front wall, but in the end, they're able to secure a much-needed takedown with a great Brush Stalker from Random Engineer. They're still down 16s. They've started up boss. They've got pretty good boss burn. They don't have the best point control, however. Yeah, they've got to back away. Shakuras have so much point control. Yeah, they've really overcommitted now. Falling Sword onto the point. First takedown onto Velaravia. Random Engineer taunted up. Tassadar secures 2 kills. So it's 2 for 2, but once again, Shakuras, with all of the displacement they had between Garrosh and Junkrat, secure the objective point and pick up a boss for bot lane. On the top side, Random Engineer finally is able to equalize the forts. Oh no, on bot side, we lost the Tassadar. Kind of unfortunate. Random Engineer trying to trade out onto Aurum. Misses the drag, and so Misha stun with the slow as well. Looks like Random Engineer will survive. But they've got no essence left, so they can't really step up to contest Aurum until they find some more. They just need to pick up some globes for that to happen. Another keep front wall goes down. Lumpico making the rotation here. But it looks like Random Engineer will waddle off to safety. Objectives available for contest once again. Shakuras have vision control of the bot objective, thanks to the Junkrat errata, traps and mines and such. 2-level lead towards the Storm Talents for Shakuras. ReGen DeGens are in a lot of trouble. Random Engineer might go down here. Yeah. Okay, they dodged the drag, or the stun. A huge pull, but immediate death for Johanna. They trade front lines here. Phase shift already used, I think. What a great Brush Stalker to land the isolation. So Random Engineer putting in work here, but Shakuras still managed to make it out alive. So a quick 38% for the DeGens. Their best objective progress yet this game. And unfortunately, they're still a level and a half behind towards the Storm talent tier. Shakuras don't have the best front line with just Amisha. There's a lot of pressure getting put onto the bear. And Johanna's back a little bit sooner. There's the kill command, however. Random Engineer falling low. There's the stay a while and listen with the upgrade. Misha will fall. Random Engineer falling very low here. Taco cleansed the team with the falling sword. Lampico taking a lot of damage. Taco taking a lot of damage on the top side as well. Looks like Shakuras are able to kite successfully. And so the DeGens scare them off. The DeGens picking up another few percentage points, up to 58% on their Zerg progress. Bit by bit, they're clawing their way back towards the Storm talent tier. The fact that that went neutral as far as fights are concerned was a huge win for the DeGens. Down a Storm talent tier you don't expect to survive. Aram dismounted here, in a lot of trouble. There's the falling sword to engage. Taco in onto Chopper there. Misha falls. Aram is next. The kill command came out a little too late. Random Engineer digs in, but once again, Shakuras scoot to safety. So boss has respawned. The DeGens are going to play for this siege camp on top side, as well as top beacon. We'll see if Shakuras stayed a little too long here in bot lane. No, DeGens don't manage to catch them. They think about proccing boss. They will. Random Engineer procs the boss. With Aurum still waiting for a respawn in the next 15 seconds, I think it's a relatively free boss for the DeGens. I wonder if it's going top or bot. It follows the BOE logic. So it's boss and Zerg wave here for top lane. Taco sees Lampico, and we've got Storm Talents for the DeGens. Heaven's Fury, Contagion, a surprise for you? Interesting. As well as Force Barrier and Speedy Dragon. Invisible Friends, rather. Another takedown onto Misha. Boss still full HP, though the Zerg wave is very weak at this point. Lampico lands the stun onto Meow Meow Cats. It's 5 heroes committed for the defense for Shakuras, with Random Engineer dealing with the bot lane objective. Boomer interrupted. Oh, there's the drag onto Cliff Sandwich right after they pull the Gust. Lampico taunts up everyone. Heaven's Fury a little too late. The silence landing onto everyone as well. Lampico will fall, but Aurum is likely to as well. Boss's Encore. There's a drag. Cliff Sandwich falls. Boomer's next. That's 4 heroes taken down by the DeGens. They've still got 3 up and a quarter health on their boss. All the damage for DeGens are dead, but the boss should be enough with their auto attacks to secure game 1. It was a tough fight for them, but if they're able to secure this last 15%, it's a heck of a comeback that the DeGens were able to make. GG and well played. What a game 1. Gigantic comeback from the DeGens. It looked so strongly in favor of Shakuras there. And not too surprising, like I said at the start of it, they had an excellent draft for Brax's holdout. But in the end, ReGen DeGens got that late game team fight win, secured the boss, and got a second win. Very well played. Let's take a look at the post-game stats, shall we? see if anything exciting happened. Tassadar, top damage, makes a lot of sense. Aurum, top for their team as well, because they spent the entire game just wailing on Random Engineer. Random Engineer, to their credit, it's a really tough lane against Rexar, so the fact that they only lost one takedown is pretty solid. Taco not faring quite as well with 7 deaths. And talents. So Meow Meow Cat's opting for the revolving axe talents at 13 and 16. I don't know them. Lacerate, so more slow, and wrong place, wrong time. Okay, makes a lot of sense. 38 stacks on the baseline you want axe, which is 38 times 5. I'm not going to do the math, but either way, we know that it wasn't a quest completion. Ooh, 121 stacks on Gathering Storm for Cliff Sandwich. That is a lot of damage on those Hammerangs. But in the end, that late game fight went in DeGens' favor thanks to, I think, a pretty sizable contagion from Random Engineer. There you go, game 1 in the books. Let's head back to our battleground selection to see where we'll be headed for game number 2 in the series. All right, game 2, we're headed to Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's anyone's guess whose battleground pick it was. It doesn't matter, because it only matters if we were watching a draft. And there's no draft in replays. So we'll see how Shakuras want to adjust their game plan here. It is a very different dynamic as far as battlegrounds are concerned. It's a 3-lane map. It's all about rotations and zoning. So I expect to see very different drafts, at least from Protectors of Shakuras. The DeGens draft actually would have probably worked pretty well for Tomb. So let's see how it all shakes out here in game number 2. If DeGens are able to tie or close things out with a 2-0, or if Shakuras bring us to a full 3-game series. We've got Taco on Varian, Random Engineer playing Dahaka once again, Velaravia on the Brightwing as well, so the double global still in their favor. Meow Meow Cats on Tychus, and Postman Pat playing Jaina. To the right in red, Protectors of Shakuras, we've got Lumpico on Johanna, Cliff Sandwich playing Vala, the Boomer on Whitemane, Aurum playing Blaze, and Chopper on the Thrall. So a triple frontline composition for Protectors of Shakuras. What do we got for level 1 talents? Greeted the Hunter, enhanced agility, press the advantage for Tychus, so extra auto attack damage, lingering chill for Postman Pat. Aurum lands the first stun onto Postman Pat. Cliff lands. Oh, that auto was so close. Taco is going to be able to survive with a good Lion's Fang. 3 stacks of their Lion's Maw quest at level 1. I think the DeGens are playing this just right. With an auto attack Vala, you don't want to brawl. With a pre-level 4 Varian, you don't want to brawl. So they've managed to keep Cliff Sandwich at 6 stacks by playing it safe, avoiding those rotations. Aurum taking so much damage there. But they've got some healing from White Mane. They are happy, healthy once again. So playing this pre-level 4 phase of the game pretty well, pretty passively, I think it's in their interest. They're still going to get the mercenary camp advantage here, with Meow Meow Cats and Pressman Pat getting the bruisers for mid and this siege camp here in bot. Random Engineer continuing to trade aggressively onto Aurum. Aurum uses the jet propulsion. That's an important tool for them to have, but Random Engineer does not have their drag available anymore. In the rhythm for Meow Meow Cats, looking to stack up the minigun time. Arcane Intellect for Prosim and Pat. Taco lands the taunt onto Boomer. So much damage. One more auto will do it. Tychus manages to take him down. Aurum does not connect with the jet propulsion. Taco receives the phase shift here and will back up. Random Engineer still lurking. They have one more drag. So Shakuras got a fair bit of push from their bruiser camp in mid. We're tied up on gem count. Taco can't get the gems in while Lumpico is zoning. They'll get a couple more stacks there. There's the taunt, this time onto Cliff Sandwich. They use the vault to escape. No quarterback for Meow Meow Cats at level 1. Aurum lands the jet propulsion onto Random Engineer. They still have the essence and the burrow, so they'll escape. Lumpico and Aurum both quite low. Shakuras have the gems required for the first objective phase. Chopper and Lumpico gonna drop 22 in here. Aurum doesn't hold as many as I would have expected, so Cliff Sandwich with 9 is the biggest turn-in opportunity for Shakuras. Random Engineer and Meow Meow Cats get theirs in. Taco stalled for as long as they could. Villaravia gets the phase shift in time. Oh, Taco's so low. So first objective phase goes in favor of Protectors of Shakuras. Level 7s on both sides. Paralyzing Enzyme at level 7 for Random Engineer. Interesting. Ice Flows for Jaina. What else? What else? Intercession for the Boomer. Nothing too strange here. I am a little surprised that Shakuras are having as much success with their pushing, just given that they have Chopper on the Thrall. Using a melee hero for your flex pick can make it a lot harder for you to get structure damage done with how they have to position. They get front wall for top fort, a little bit of damage on mid fort. Taco lurking out of vision. Neck and neck towards the heroic talents. A little bit more mercenary and takedown experience for the DeGens puts them just a hair closer to that all-important talent tier. How many stacks does Cliff Sandwich have? Up to 58 stacks. Taco with a sub 6 minute completion on Lion's Maw. That's pretty solid. Aurum engages on the Random Engineer, but a excellent cleanse from Villaravia will get the Dahaka out of trouble. Another bruiser camp for mid lane should buy DeGens the room they need to get their last 7 gems turned in. Random Engineer trying on the bot side, but it's Meow Meow Cats on the top side who secures the objective phase. What a great drag onto Cliff Sandwich. Taunted up, there's the cleanse. Boomer pops the trait. They're out of mana, but they've got the well to tap. Excellent timing by Shakuras to get their Bruiser Camp done. We've got Heroics for DeGens. Isolation, Emerald Wind. Okay. Commandeer Odin and Ring of Frost. Very, very cool. Cliff Sandwich eats the Death Wave. That's a lot of damage on the Vala. Level 10s for Shakuras. We see the Earthquake used. So not quite as much push out of the blue Webweaver phase. The DeGens committing more to the top side here. Lompico on the flank with Blessed Shield. Oh, gets licked by Random Engineer. Aurum dives in. Heroics flying on both sides. Lompico's in deep. And the top fort likely to fall here. Meow Meow Cat's standing and delivering. Oh, that's a lot of gems lost. It looks like they're not going to be able to pick them up. Belravia will die trying. Chopper lands another root. Taco falling low as well. 4 heroes taken down. 4 protectors of Shakuras. They lose a fort, but they're going to get a boss and likely an objective turn in as well. Four takedowns. An excellent team fight win, and they're in the lead as far as experience goes here for the first time. Random Engineer and Belravia will get this siege camp pushed out for bot lane. Bot fort still pretty healthy. The Webweaver did not get a lot done. Meow Meow Cats and Taco chewing through this boss HP as quickly as they can. I believe Aurum will be 1 shy. Nope, I can't do math. Had 4 spare. That's what a BFA will get you, friends. Shakura's very close to their 13s now. With mid-wave very well prepped, bot wave very well prepped. They've got 5 heroes committed here. We'll see how the DeGens respond. Haunted up. Cliff Sandwich manages to vault away. Isolation lands onto Chopper. There's the root as well. Scarlet Aegis will protect the team. Chopper drops the Earthquake, but it's not enough. Aurum gets the the jet propulsion and takes out the Jaina. Oh, Cliff Sandwich connects once again, finding Belravia. They're looking for one more auto onto Taco. 3 takedowns for 1 in favor of Shakuras. Meow Meow Cats looked like they had excellent engage on their hands, but the Boomer on Whitemane saving so many with a well-timed heroic and all of the healing that Whitemane's mana bar will allow for. DeGens are going to have to get a little pickier on who they engage on. The Vala is a juicy target, of course, thanks to her level 1 Gambit quest, Creed of the Hunter. Getting through those charges of the Gambit means that her attack speed will be far slower, but if they don't choose to engage on Whitemane, then Cleanse comes out, Scarlet Aegis comes out, and Shakuras are likely able to turn things around. 13s on both sides. Mortal Strike will help get through that healing. The healing reduction matters. Healing reduction, I believe, stacks up as well, so that's healing reduction from Mortal Strike and Drag. With Paralyzing Enzymes. Pressman Pat interrupted. Shakuras have solid interrupt tools here. We see danger pings onto the top bush. I believe they know. So DeGens back up. With the structure advantage that Shakuras have accrued, the DeGens are going to have a hard time getting their gems turned in. They don't control vision in these lanes anymore because of how far up Shakuras can see with their minion waves. Random Engineer playing a little fast and loose here in top lane. But with that siege camp grab, the DeGens know that at least one from Shakuras are missing. This is an opportunity for a brief 5v4. Taco falling low. They commit the Emerald Wind. A huge jet propulsion from Aurum. They drop the bunker as well for safety. Taco taken down. Prostman Pat taken down. Bellaravia falls. It is 3 takedowns once again off of a massive engagement Aurum was able to find. Random Engineer with 35 gems holds the fate of DeGens economy in their hands. They've got Brush Stalker available, and they'll make it out. Okay. Well played. Well played. But the last few gems do get paid. So Shakuras will secure another objective phase. Meow Meow Cats dealing with the siege camp in bot lane. Aurum handling the top wave. There's the taunt under the fort. Follow-up from Prostman Pat a little slow. And of course, the Boomer with lots of healing. We've got 16s on both sides. What do we have? Sizzling attacks, as well as Manticore. I believe that's the root talent at 16. Harsh Discipline. Yep, and we see it there onto Meow Meow Cats. The Direwolf follow-up from Chopper does not connect. There's the Blessed Shield, however. Oh my goodness, so much damage. Once again, Taco and Bellaravia do not stand a chance. Ooh, a narrow miss. Random Engineer almost nabbing Chopper there with the elongated tongue. Nope, it's not elongated tongue. It's Pack Leader at 16. All right, so 2 keeps and a ping onto the boss. Shakuras stay in the driver's seat after that objective phase. And these 5v5 team fights definitely seem to favor them compositionally. The AoE stuns, both from Blessed Shield and Jet Propulsion. The massive slows from Chopper's Earthquake and all of the healing that Boomer is able to pour out makes it very difficult for the DeGens to manage in a full 5v5. And in the late game, that is what you're most likely to see. It's hard to manufacture those picks, those one-off takedowns. So boss and objective will trade out in top lane. Shakuras commit all 5 heroes to the bot Web Weaver. I like this rotation from them going from bot to mid. Boss has made it to core, but I don't think it's going to get any damage. Yeah, it just scratches the shield a bit. And Shakuras have their Storm talents now. Scarlet Crusade, so more CC for Shakuras. Radiating Faith for Johanna. Barfight Quiver. Earthen Shields, and Fortified Bunker. And still about a level away for the DeGens until they find Storm talents of their own. I would love to see Shakuras getting a little more aggressive rather than getting these camps out. Like, with Taco showing in mid lane, that's a pretty safe takedown. Lumpico making the far rotation here. Crossman Pat scouts them out. That was a creative flank. That was an excellent potential for Shakuras. We'll see how they try and leverage this 20 advantage they've got. They're not going to be able to turn in. At least not enough for an objective. Here's the brush stock from Random Engineer. They'll receive phase shift as well. Emerald Wind. Orum's low. Random Engineer missed the drag and they don't have Feeding Frenzy. Oh no, Random Engineer rooted up by Boomer. Lumpico throws the Blessed Shield. It doesn't connect. Aurum misses as well. Lots of heroics have missed. It's a completion on the baseline for Jaina. She now has Ice Block. Aurum lands a huge jet propulsion. Timeout from Villaravia. It's not called timeout. What is it called? Phase out. So a couple of different ice blocks for ReGen DeGens now. And they managed to weather the storm. Get it? Storm talents? Storm? They weather the storm down 20s. They've got enough gems for an objective phase. And they only used Ring of Frost. They don't feel comfortable stepping up here. I think it's a little bit of a misstep for the DeGens. It's given Shakuras time to get most of their heroics back. They won't have Earthquake or Bunker. But Blessed Shield's back off cooldown. Scarlet Crusade is back off cooldown. Yeah, the DeGens missed a little bit of an opportunity there, playing it passively after managing to dodge all those important cooldowns. So Shakuras still firmly in the driver's seat. Yamia Cats almost makes the turn in, but Lumpico is in range for the interrupt. Villaravia uses the Emerald Wind. They're allowed to use it pretty willy-nilly now that they're level 20. Oh my god, Yamia Cats absolutely nuked! Crossman Pat's in a lot of trouble here. Random Engineer lands the drag onto Lumpico. Villaravia hits another Emerald Wind. Harsh Winds at level 20 gives them a lot of safety. Intensive Winds, not Harsh Winds. They're able to buffet Shakuras all around the battleground. I almost wonder if Speedy Dragon wouldn't have been the call. Taco found in the bush. There's the root as well. Oh no, I don't think Varian makes it out. Ring of Frost catches none. Second ring catches none. And so that'll be full cooldown at level 20 rather than any of the cooldown reduction. Shakuras. This is where you can start to feel the difficulty of securing structures with a melee composition. I think with a double ranged and those takedowns, we would have seen Shakuras threaten core rather than play it safe and go for the bottom keep. But they know what they're doing because they can count and I can't. So they'll get another objective. Boss is available. So if they don't end the game off this objective push, they will have something to fall back on. That is, of course, if the DeGens don't manage a team wipe. Because if DeGens team wipe, they can secure top keep and then fall back to boss and threaten a win of their own. So in a lot of ways, it comes down to how this defense is played. Aurum jet propulsion's out, Random Engineer unable to chase him down with the enhanced agility move speed. A lot of damage on the Web Weaver already. Mid Web Weaver almost at the core here. Postman Pat and Yamia Cats will finish them off. Belaravia can stall a lot of this push. A huge Blessed Shield! Oh no! This is gonna seal the fate of ReGen DeGens if I had to guess. Lots of damage onto Lampico here. Somehow the DeGens are surviving through all of it. Their core taking a lot of damage though. I don't think it's gonna be enough. Postman Pat falls. Taco's falling very low as well. They're going to get the takedown onto the Varian and the core. We can see Harrison Jones joining the fight as the dust settles here in game number 2 with Protectors of Shakuras getting their win. The 5v5 team fights were their specialty. It was true in the late game especially, which can have a major impact on the outcome, especially with DeGens unable to get a massive advantage with their early game Varian composition. Whoop. Let's take a look. What do we have for builds? Holy Fury at 13. Yucky. Oh man, and Grace of Air at 13. Yikes. Man, okay, either way, my personal preferences on talents is neither here nor there. Postman Pat at level 13 with Icy Veins, pairing that with Ice Flows at 7 and Numbing Blast. They had the potential to punch through the White Mane healing with that build. Unfortunately, they were, in fact, unable to do it. The Boomer, checking in on the stats, able to heal for 63,000. Huge Storm Shield value for Chopper as well, with Earthen Shield at 20. Almost 20,000 HP contributed in shielding there. And the Emerald Wind from Belaravia didn't seem to get a whole heck of a lot of value. They were able to secure the bot siege camp from Aurum at one time, but the intensive winds didn't deter Shakuras from engaging heavily in those late game 20 fights. All right, so back to our battleground selection. And let's see where we're headed for game 3 of our series. Game 3, we're headed to Infernal Shrines. Very cool. Get that replay loading up and see how this exciting series comes to an end. Infernal Shrines favors the sort of triple frontline composition that we saw out of Protectors of Shakuras in Game 2. We'll see if they opt for that again. Johanna, once again, very high priority. So there are a lot of different ways that the draft could have shaken out. Let's see how it did shake out here in game number 3. Introducing our teams for the last time. We've got ReGen DeGens here on the left, Taco on Maiev, Random Engineer on Gazlo, Belaravia on Stukov, Meow Meow Cats on Orphea, and Postman Pat playing Blaze. To the right in red, Protectors of Shakuras, we've got the Boomer on Brightwing, Cliff Sandwich on Vala, Aurum on Hogger, Chopper on Thrall, and Lampico playing Diablo. So a little bit of a role swap for the DeGens with Taco on Maiev. Triple frontline composition, but not a triple bruiser. Random Engineer playing, I guess, a main tank Gazlo, which has decent vision control. Level 1 talents, Cliff Sandwich opting for Puncturing Arrow, or Hungering Arrow, the Puncturing Arrow quest. Quick 2 stacks for Taco there. Maev is going to eat well in these 5v5s with melee heavy composition. First blood goes in favor of the DeGens. Aurum falling very low, but they'll escape. Yeah, Maev loves fighting into a heavy melee composition, having more and more opportunities for resetting Phantom Knives. I know their quest is amplifying the damage on Umbral Bind, but I don't know exactly how it works. After applying 10, increase Umbral Bind's cleave damage by 30. Okay. There's the engagement onto Random Engineer. Chopper lands the root as well. Boomer gets the polymorph, but Random Engineer escapes with sub 50 HP. Little bit of a bummer for Shakuras. The DeGens saving the Gazlo very well. Other level 1 talents. Anything out of the ordinary. E-Quest at level 1. Growing Nightmare. Increasing damage of Dread. Checking in on the bot side. Neutral Siege Camp. Oh, Taco in onto Chopper there, but they're able to get themselves connected with the terrain so they're not pulled too far back as level 4s come in for both teams. Pico going for Souls to the Flame, so likely to be a W build with Eternal Flames at level 7. A little bit of damage here on the bottom fort wall. Oh no, Aurum's doing this alone. Taco's in range. They get the tether. There's the phase shift in, but DeGens make the rotation a little bit quicker. Chopper and Lumpico in onto Prostman Pat. Pat falling very low. It's Aurum who will fall first. They trade offlaners there. Chopper the target now. And there's another takedown, this time onto Lumpico. Taco wants one more auto attack and it's not going to connect. Even so, 3 for 1 in the team fight is definitely the outcome that the DeGens were hoping for. They managed to steal away the camp as well, and it'll give them first crack at the Frozen Punisher gear in top lane. About a half-level lead towards level 7s as well. What do we have at level 4 for Maev? Blade Dance, Easy Peasy Dimensional Ripper for Gazlo. Big damage reduction talent. What do we have for Velaravia? Is that Pop and Pustules? Vigorous Reuptake. Sure, yeah. Level 7s on both sides now. Okay, the DeGens are going to 39 this top objective. Shakuras get a fair bit of push done here in mid. Getting through one tower. Cliff Sandwich in bot lane escorts a wave in. DeGens stay patient. They'll get this Bruiser camp out to supplement their top lane push. Prostman Pat securing the last couple Shrine Defenders there. I'm curious to see how aggressive Taco wants to get. Not going to try and follow up the John Cena push. Or jump, I should say. There's the stun. They've got spell shield, so Lampico will be safe. I think this top fort is a goner. No chance it survives. Lampico looking for an engagement here, but they get tethered back in after falling low. Random Engineer landing the Explodium charge to lock Diablo down. And it's a pretty sizable lead towards the heroic talent tier thanks to all of these takedowns. 5-1 in favor of the DeGens. There's a nice knock onto Random Engineer. Phase shift in from the Boomer. And we've got heroics for the DeGens. Cage of the Warden. Warden's Cage? Warden's Cage. Shove, massive shove that is, Eternal Feast, Bunker, and Gravo Bomb. Gravo Bomb 3000 and Warden's Cage pairing very nicely. Next objective will be in bot lane. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher. Shakuras playing it safely here. Oh, Maiev finds 4. They get a couple different Fan of Knives resets and the takedown onto Cliff Sandwich. Taco looked like they'd really overplayed their hand there, but Vault of the Wardens is a really useful survival tool, and Fan of Knives can do a lot of damage. Oh, there's the root onto Velaravia. Sundering as well. Lightning Breath used to try and zone the DeGens away. Prostman Pat getting the rotation in from bot lane here. What other heroics do we have? Shockwave, Rain of Vengeance, and Link Heal. Shakuras committing pretty heavily to the top side of the battleground. It's going to give the DeGens an opportunity to get through this fort front wall. Taco interrupts the rotation. Lampico in deep here, and Taco gets rooted up, stunned as well. But oh, what a great Gravo! Cliff falling low. They'll get the last couple of autos. Taco will fall the Boomer very low. Cliff Sandwich as well. They vault in a somewhat questionable direction, but they're going to make it out alive. Lampico trying to zone, and it's Boomer who will fall. Oh, what a slow from Random Engineer. That was a rough catch for Cliff Sandwich. So the DeGens get another 2 takedowns. They're going to continue pressuring this fort right as the objective spawns. Level 13s now for the DeGens. What do we have? Overcharged capacitors, so spell power for each turret on the ground. Virulent Reaction. That is a nasty combo with low blow. Here's the rotation in from Shakuras. All of the heroics are back up for the DeGens. Yeah, they've already got 38 defenders, so Shakuras will back up. DeGens have to send Prostman Pat to the top lane to deal with the Bruiser camp. And Meow Meow Cat's in mid means that this is a 3v4 for now. Taco out of vision once again on the Maiev. So keep front wall will fall. We'll see if the DeGens are able to find anything else. Umbral Bind onto 3. Warden Cage popped a little late, and they used their vault and re-aggroed the keep, so Taco will fall. Prostman Pat working on the mid fort here. Got a fair bit done. Shakuras have a power play available. Huge shockwave onto Velaravia. Cliff Sandwich completely unfettered. Knocks all of their damage into Stukov. But this Eternal Feast keeps proccing. Chopper, get out of the... Oh no! Get out of the... Oh no. Oh, Cliff Sandwich might survive here. Postman Pat and Random Engineer don't have the best chase. And Meow Meow Cat's getting so much value out of their heroic there. Lumpico will try and push Random Engineer and Postman Pat off the mid fort, but that's all of the outer structures taken down on the side of Protectors of Shakuras. Level 16s now in their favor. Random Engineer pops the easy peasy. And it looks like they'll be able to escape. Easy peasy Dimensional Ripper, such a powerful damage reduction. It also gives Gazlo 40 armor. How many seconds? 3 seconds, yeah. Is it just auto attacks? Okay. Hogger was showing in top lane. Taco's in deep. Can they get the Umbral Bind onto Lumpico? They're looking to fight past Diablo. Shockwave lands onto 2. There's a big Lightning Breath and Sundering. Taco catches 3. Lumpico falls low, and another takedown onto Diablo. They don't have souls this time. Cliff sidesteps the jet propulsion. A few more procs on the feast once again. Oh no, Random Engineer! You're gonna die! Taco might die here too. Another 2 takedowns for Protectors of Shakuras, answering back here. Meow Cats completes their level 7 quest. Growing Nightmare? Mind Devourer. Growing Nightmare is the one. I'll never get those straight. Either way, they've completed both, so Dread now does approximately a bajillion damage. However, Shakuras, for the first time in a while, perhaps all game, have first crack at this top, or at this mid objective, as well as a power play on the field. What do the Shakuras have at 16? Seething Hatred. Interesting. What else do we see? Nothing out of the ordinary. Alpha Wolf or Chopper. Vala shows in top lane here. 35 objective minions secured. 36. Crossman Pat finds Lumpico there. Aurum suns up 2. Taco falling low. There's the Warden's Cage. Heroics flying on all sides. Lumpico hits once by the Feast. Taco very low here. As they pop out of the bunker, Chopper takes him down. Shakuras managed to secure the objective as well, and Random Engineer will fall. That takedown secures the last couple of souls Lumpico needed for their Black Soulstone. So they've got their low respawn timer available. Armored Assault. Those takedowns really helping catch Shakuras back up. Crossman Pat likely won't survive here, yeah. And we're neck and neck now towards the Storm Talent tier. The Arcane Punisher gonna get a lot done on this keep. Lumpico draws the keep aggro. I like this play holding on to the keep aggro as long as they can to keep their Punisher and Wave healthy. Taco blinks in. There's the Sundering from Chopper just to get Shakuras out. All the while, Orum's been tending to the other lanes, getting this siege camp for mid. So it's constant catapults that the DeGens must contend with in mid lane. They still have the advantage in top. We see Aurum headed up there to deal with the catapult. Storm talents on both sides. What do we have? Hellgate, Acrobat, Fairy Defender, Fairy Protector. No control. And Thrall holding on to his. On the other side, Burn Notice. No! You could have had the fortified bunker. Bomb Toss for Random Engineer is going to make things even more hectic. Reset the cooldown of Spirit of Vengeance. Sure. Top off and Eldritch Conduit. So now it's really just kind of a... okay, Wind Fury for Thrall. Wind Rush? Wind Fury. Wind Rush. Grant Wind Fury. Yeah, it's going to come down to vision control. I like DeGens' vision control tools a little bit better. Shakuras, with their melee-heavy composition, don't have very many vision tools. They're going to put a little bit of damage onto this bottom fort, but the DeGens are marching straight towards top keep. It'll draw Shakuras back into the base and give DeGens even more space on the battleground that they control. Aurum, by themselves, they find Taco and Random Engineer. This is the one downside to DeGens' draft. They've got lots of vision tools, but they don't have the most straightforward engage. Taco cannot stun someone. And it looks like it's going to come down to this top objective. Mortar Punisher. The DeGens, once again, will have control of the lane vision thanks to this camp and their catapults. They've got to check these bushes, though. Lampico revealed. Yeah, and Shakuras getting pushed back just through vision play. DeGens can continue to buy space for themselves bit by bit here. Taco still mounted up, out of vision on the bot side. Postman Pat finds Lampico. Oh my god, Cliff takes so much damage from that Dread. Taco binds two. There's the huge heroic everything thrown onto the field. Bunker connected. No control's gonna kill everyone. Meow Meow Cat's falling low here. Aurum making a big difference. Chopper's still pretty healthy. Prostman Pat low. Chopper uses the Wind Rush. And despite a massive engagement from the DeGens, Shakuras lives to tell the tale. Cliff Sandwich, Chopper, and Lampico all make it out alive. Acrobat, I guess, made the difference there. How many stacks is Cliff at? 30 on the Hungering Arrow at level 1. So that's a lot of repeating arrow value. Lightning Breath, of course, always good in a clumped up engagement. I wonder if Random Engineer was able to get the easy peasy Dimensional Ripper off. Either way, Shakuras win a commanding team fight. And that'll secure the top Punisher They're definitely going to even out catapult pressure at a minimum, but they are likely hoping for a bit more than that. On the bot side, bottom keep has taken a lot of punishment. I would have guessed in a late game 5v5, ReGen DeGens wombo combo potential would carry them to a victory. Taco doesn't check any of the bushes on Pico season. So Shakuras will pick up their bruisers. This is shaping up to be a pretty long Infernal Shrines game with how passively our teams have to play. I think it makes a lot of sense. Both teams have the potential to absolutely blow someone up out of the blue. Next objective in mid lane. So a slight advantage to Shakuras in that capacity. The DeGens positioning around top. They're trying to bait Shakuras to take an unsafe rotation with a juicy looking Prostman Pat. But they play it safe. They're going to rotate through their mid keep. So, Arcane Punisher is up next. Yeah, Shakuras, I would expect, will get through this fort with connects 4 puncturing arrows. DeGens get aggressive onto the mid fort. So they'll secure fort wall, or keep, I should say. And now they're once again looking for Shakuras to step out in an unsafe fashion. Bot fort goes down. Shakuras still playing it safe around their keeps. Meow Cats gets this siege camp out. It'll help even out the lane push that the DeGens face in mid with those constant catapults. It's a little bit of an ambitious grab. I don't think the DeGens can realistically skip this objective and win the game. But they're going to be really late. Shakuras already up past 10 Shrine Defenders. And they've lost the element of surprise, which the DeGens really need. Lampico engaged on, they get the spell shield from Bright Wing. There's the cage. Lampico will get pulled back in. Aurum as well. Bravo catches a bunch of folks. Cliff is low but will survive. Aurum gets the rotation in. Taco pops back into the bunker. Random Engineer low as well. 30 objective minions for Shakuras. Lampico looking for Prostman Pat on the top side. And the DeGens just a little too late to this objective. They can't step back in. Boomer! Oh! Meow Cat's doing so much damage with the Dread. Aurum falling back to tend to this bot lane. I would love to see Shakuras pushes 5 in this moment. Losing bot keep doesn't matter if you're winning the game. Yeah, it just means that Shakuras are going to be really late to support John Cena here. There's the stun onto 2. Chopper hits the Sundering. Taco finds up 2. They're rooted, however, and polymorphed as well. John Cena knocking on the core. There's the takedown onto Chopper. Core down below 90% now. Another takedown, this time onto Lumpico. And the core will survive with 72 HP. .4v4 trading Taco for Chopper. Bot keep survived. Whew. Yeah, I'm thinking this might end up being like a 30-minute game. Boomer chiming in chat, not even realizing I was at 2-digit HP. Yeah, that was... Oh, Prostman Pat's in trouble. Okay, they're able to mount up and get out. Top lane, bunch of catapults to contend with. With Taco showing in top lane, Protectors of Shakuras will secure this mid-siege camp once again. The slow waiting game favors Shakuras. They have more lane pressure in their favor. Lumpico, the only one in vision. I think it's a good call. While the rest of Shakuras take care of this bot siege camp. How are the DeGens doing? Random Engineer just face checking these bushes. Woo. I mean, it's informed face checking because they know that there's top lane pressure. Yeah, I like this play from them. Sneaking out of vision. They still have Meow Meow Cats dealing with that camp and bot, so they'll secure a keep of their own. So things have evened out now, though across different lanes. Frostman Pat hasn't mounted up yet, so they're not out of the woods. They'll make it now. 3 catapults in mid. A bot lane objective, Frozen Punisher. The DeGens once again committing pretty heavily to the top side of the battleground while the objective is spawning further away from them. It's giving Shakuras the time they need once again to set back up on the objective. They found Lumpico. Ping's going out. They see Taco on Maiev on the flank there. This game of footsie is tense to say the least. Shakuras staying grouped up here. Oh my god, a huge shockwave and sundering. The cage was a little late. Meow Meow Cats falls. No control, doing so much damage to the Stukov. Frostman Pat survives through the bunker. They'll take down Aurum and Lumpico. There's the takedown onto Hogger. Random Engineer falling low. Cliff Sandwich still full HP. Oh man. Random Engineer with sub 1000 HP. I don't think they're going to be able to secure the last 10 defenders that they'd need. So Shakuras will secure another objective. I think DeGens had to pull the trigger a little bit faster with the Maiev engage if they wanted to come out ahead on that 5v5. Of course, it's no guarantee. Boomer has been getting a lot of healing thanks to their level 7 critical mist. when those big wombo combo stuns come out. And that plus Fairy Protector at nice. Link heal it onto John Cena to put additional pressure. So yeah, Fairy Protector at level 20 mitigates a lot of the damage that the DeGens stand to put out. John Cena catches Taco. There's the Sundering onto the Maiev. 1 vault, 2 vaults. Red vaults, 3 vaults. They've got 4 catapults and a Vala with many Q stacks. John Cena's still healthy. Lampico stuns 1. Cliff Sandwich sidesteps the... And rather than hitting the core, we started hitting heroes. Alright. Lampico uses the Lightning Breath. It'll secure the core, and that'll do it for Game 3, going in favor of Protectors of Shakuras. GG and well played to the red team. It was a nail-biter, absolutely. Could have gone either way a number of different times and ended up being a little bit over 30 minutes. So far from a foregone conclusion. Let's take a look at our post-game stats. Wow, 97,000 damage from Meow Meow Cats, so much. Cliff Sandwich, top of their team with 96k. Aurum getting a little bit more experience contributed than their compatriot Prostman Pat. 19 to 19 in takedowns, so dead even. Such a tense nail-biter of a Game 3. A heck of a way to end the series. But in the end, the DeGens couldn't make it on time to those objectives, and Shakuras was able to clutch out those teamfight wins. So a very well played to the Protectors. That's going to do it for this series, and I think that'll do it for the day as well for me. So after a really close 3-game series in Division D, I think it's a good way to end the stream. Before I go, some shout-outs I'll give. First and foremost, to all you who joined us live, thanks for tuning in. Always a pleasure to have people come out and support the NGS community. Speaking of the NGS community, a huge shout-out to all of the volunteers who give of their time to make this league a possibility. It's a fantastic organization that I'd recommend anyone get involved with if you aren't a member already. And last but not least, a huge shout out to all of the artists, musicians, and programmers whose work I feature here on the stream. It wouldn't look or sound anywhere near as good without their contributions. You can find links to their work below or coming up in a credit roll after I stop yapping at you. So please do go check out their work. It's all open source or Creative Commons licensed material. So if you've seen or heard anything you like, it could be in your next project as well. Until next time, friends, good luck and have fun out there. Peace and love.